The next meeting is reported to, and the next meeting is proposed for the 21st and the 22nd of June. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has retained the monetary policy rate at 14%. Other economic parameters were also retained at the current rates. Briefing the media at the end of the bi-monthly meeting of the committee, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, assured that the decision was premised on the fact that the macroeconomic policies taken so far has resulted in more favorable economic outlook and hence the need to sustain the momentum. Shikela Ikminaye gives us details.
The major takeaway from the press briefing is the assurance by the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria that Nigeria will be out of recession based on the current favorable economic indicators. Inflation rate has moderated in 3 consecutive months. The Naira recorded impressive gains in the foreign exchange market to about 365 Naira to the dollar at the official parallel window. And the bullish trend in the capital market all point to the fact that the economy is showing more resilience, which is a fallout of sound macroeconomic policies and rising oil prices.
We've seen positive signs in various economic sectors of the economy. I'm very confident that by the end of the third quarter that we would be out of this, and I still hold that position.
Considering the developments in the global economic terrain, which includes U.S. Federal Reserve normalization, increased production of shale oil, and uptrend of global inflation. The CBN governor said these and other domestic challenges, such as a yearning need to curtail inflationary pressure, informed the MPC's decision.
MPC decided to 1. Retain MPR at 14%, 2. Retain CRR at 22.5%, 3. Retain liquidity ratio at 30%, and 4. Retain the asymmetric corridor at plus 200 and minus 500 basis points around the MPR.
The MPC also expressed concern over high lending rates in the banking system and the decline in credit facility to the private sector and called for concerted efforts in this regard. The committee calls for proper implementation of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan and the 2017 budget to sustain the economy on the path of growth. In Abuja, Shikela Ikminaye, NTA News.
We earlier announced to you that the 3 tiers of government have shared the sum of 415.73 billion naira being revenue accrued for the country in the month of April. The figure is less than what was realized in the month of March, which led to a proposal to distribute 20.425 billion naira from the excess petroleum profit tax account and 38.517 billion naira exchange gain to shore up the shortfall. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, attributed the fall to a chain reaction of activities affecting oil production. He announced that efforts are on to permanently stem sabotage in the oil-producing areas.
The price of crude in the market, and I think a combination of this and other microeconomic measures and fiscal measures being taken by government that have been put in place, the hope and really the picture of the future is really bright, and we've already started to see the benefit of some of these measures and some of these positive indices that are manifesting.
On 22nd of June. State governments have been urged to key into the economic recovery growth plan of the federal government to ensure inclusive growth in the nation's economy. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, stated this at the 2nd edition of Kano State Economic and Investment Summit 2017. Joy Uzo monitored the program and now reports.
With the theme, Transforming the Kano Economy, Turning Challenges into Opportunities, The second edition of the Kano Economic and Investment Summit opened with stakeholders from different strata of the economy discussing avenues to improve business activities in the state.
The federal government is setting aside funds in the 2017 budget to provide infrastructure for the revival of the free trade zone in Kano.
Other speakers at the event were of the opinion that Nigeria is lagging behind in industrialization, being largely a consumer nation. They called for intensified effort to change the trend, as well as the need to make funds available to agriculturalists to boost the diversification drive.
We therefore must concentrate on the little businesses that we have known for centuries.
We are reducing our dependency on the Federation account and adopted a revenue-driven budgetary implementation.
Kano goat skin is Moroccan leather, the best leather in the world. We can produce all the shoes we need in this country.
Must key into the federal government's economy recovery and growth plan.
The second edition of the Kano State Economic and Investment Summit comes 11 years after the first one. Joy Uzo, NTA News.
Economic analysts call for an effective understanding of Nigerians as the National Bureau of Statistics releases first quarter 2017 report. Details of this with Vivian Idekbefo on Business News.
We're glad you joined us on the Business News. The National Bureau of Statistics has released its first quarter 2017 report, which shows that the nation's gross domestic product, GDP, contracted by 0.52% year-on-year in real terms, representing the fifth consecutive quarter of contraction since the first quarter of 2016. The report released Tuesday also revised the fourth quarter contraction for 2016 to 1.73% from 1.30%, an indication that the quarter shrank more sharply than thought at the end of 2016. Figures from the oil sector, however, stream the hope of an upward movement in the coming months. The non-oil sector grew by 0.72% in real terms in the first quarter, representing a 1.05% increase over the fourth quarter of 2016. Agriculture, manufacturing and transportation drove the sector's growth, the NBS said. Meanwhile, analysts have called for calm on the part of Nigerians as the NBS report is an indication that the country's economy is on the way out of recession as economic growth leaped by 17%.
Quarter 4, 2016 was 1.7% negative, minus 1.7%. Quarter 1, 2017 is 0.52, minus 0.52. When you do a refraction of the two figures, what you get is that we're actually building up. In real terms, the GDP moved up to 17.2 or something percent. What the NBS is telling us is that now we are seeing relative growth. We have not grown out of the recession in the real sense of it, but we are growing out. It's a continuous tense. We are growing out of recession, away from the minus 2.24, stated in quarter 2, 2016. Of course, when you compare and contrast the figure, 2.24 and 0.52, you know that one is bigger than the other. So when you take it at that level, we are now more comfortable. It means that we are subtracting from our negative to start moving into our positive.
And investors on the Nigerian Stock Exchange had a good day as the equities market made a rebound Tuesday with a marginal rise of 0.05%. The all-share index closed at 28,093.30 basis points, while market capitalization stood at 9.712 trillion naira. 212 million shares were traded in 3,908 deals worth 2.180 billion naira. On that cheerful note, we conclude Business News tonight. Thanks for watching.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has strongly condemned the terrorist attack on innocent persons in Manchester, United Kingdom, Tuesday night. A statement released by a senior special assistant to the President on Media and Publicity Office of the Vice President, Laolu Akande, described the attacks as a dastardly act and heinous crime. The acting president assured Prime Minister Theresa May that the prayers and thoughts of Nigerians are with the British people as they mourn the victims, many of them being young persons. Professor Yemi Osinbajo says he trusts that Britons and citizens of other nations across the world will continue to show resilience and courage in the wake of such terrorist crimes, and expressed heartfelt condolences and solidarity with the government and people of the United Kingdom in their period of grief. Nigeria has joined in the United Nations global He for She campaign, seeking the commitment of men and boys to stimulate action to end discrimination against women and girls. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo at the launch in Abuja described women as development partners. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
The handwriting is on the wall, committing men of the country to ending every form of discrimination against women. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo signing the deal on behalf of the President and the people of Nigeria to join the global campaign describes as injustice the idea of violence and other discrimination against the vulnerable on account of sex, religion, and tradition.
But the campaign is much more important in shaping the future. Boys are now being challenged to stand shoulder to shoulder with girls in the struggle for gender equality. They are learning that insisting on equal rights for women is not a favor being done to girls or women. It's an imperative of justice and fairness. It is an entitlement, a debt owed to women, and it's not a gift. It is an entitlement.
With women and girls having the right education and equal pay, their full potential would now be unleashed, the acting president reaffirms. For so long, the struggle for gender equality has been on, taking various forms.
The equality Nigerian women are asking for is giving us equal opportunities as the men to bring out our full potentials to help grow our country.
The United Nations country representative applauded the move by the country's leadership to take the lead in the campaign towards ensuring a peaceful and better society.
We have many examples of bold and positive experiences and commitments by men to advance gender equality right here in Nigeria. It is these positive stories that the He for She movement seeks to build on.
Without engaging women as equal partners, this country will never reach the peak of its development.
The He for She campaign is created by the United Nations Women's Wing to engage men and boys in removing the social and cultural barriers that prevent women and girls from achieving their potential. In Abuja, Jide Onifade.
Imagine a world without women, or a world where roles are reversed and men have to take on the responsibilities of women. While you attempt an answer, the He for She global campaign has rolled out an ambitious plan to mobilize 1 billion men and boys to join the movement that seeks to bridge the gender gaps in the society by removing all obstacles to integrating women in the society. Lydia Sampson now reports.
Gender equality is essential for the achievement of human rights for all. Yet, discriminatory laws against women persist across the world. Many laws continue to institutionalize second-class status for women and girls. The global He for She campaign stems from the need to close these gender gaps by engaging men with the aim of removing social and cultural barriers that prevent women from realizing their full potentials.
Men across Nigeria in different sectors will also stand up and join this important movement.
The Solidarity Movement seeks to engage at least 1 billion men and boys on gender equality. How will Nigeria key in to create gender-equal communities?
It is timely, but we can't do it alone. We need the support of men, the He for She.
It's about human rights. A woman is first a human being.
When I was governor, I did a lot for women And in any public office I find myself, I will surely do a lot more for women.
Women are very important. Anybody with any sense cannot help but help support women to achieve their potential.
The He for She campaign globally is all about realizing that what unites us is more powerful than what divides us. And so women can't do it alone. In Abuja, Lydia Samson, NTA News.
Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari says his government is committed to empowering women to be self-reliant as part of its program to address poverty in the state. The governor stated this at the graduation of women who were trained on empowerment at Tsanni in Batagara Lake government area of the state. The governor stated this at the women were trained on the pomades, soap, shoes, and bed sheets, and groundnut making, among other things, for domestic use. The governor, Aminu Bello Masari, urged women to take the vocation serious to support themselves, their husbands, and the family, most especially their children's education. He used the occasion to warn husbands to desist from diverting the funds of their wives into unproductive ventures. Director General of the Women Empowerment Project, Abubakar Tsanni, commended the resilience and doggedness of the women in learning new skills. More than 100 women were trained in the Skill Empowerment Project. They were appreciative of the opportunity provided and promised to further enhance the knowledge acquired. Counter-radicalism, strategic communication, cooperation among security operatives, as well as multinational and multilateral levels approach have been identified as pivotal for Nigeria to achieve a national framework and preventive plan against violent extremism. This was at a national workshop on preventing violent extremism through effective narrative and messaging by the Office of the National Security Advisor to the President. Olajide Bello reports.
The need for government and the community to work together to address inequality, injustice and insecurity and youth vulnerability has become imperative. It is in view of this that a workshop to fashion out modalities towards addressing violent extremism was put together.
Communicating our values effectively is critical to defeating the ideology of terror, and without fear, we must all rise to our responsibilities.
A coordinated approach to countering violent extremism in a manner that can amplify all of the efforts that we are making and amplify the results.
And the idea for the workshop is to bring together representatives from the national government and also civil society to discuss, strategies for countering and preventing violent extremism.
The Catholic Archbishop of Abuja, John Cardinal Onaeka, speaks on using religion as a tool in the fight against violent extremism.
It is important, therefore, to identify how much of these things moving them comes really from religion, and if it is religion badly understood, to find a way of correcting it.
A communique is expected. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Since the inception of the present administration, the Nigerian Army has recorded remarkable achievements in its internal security operations due to improved funding and logistics support. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, stated this at the opening of a Combat Arms Training Week in Jaji Military Cantonment, Kaduna. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has details.
The Combat Corps of the Army is the major fighting arm, usually at the front line, with various internal security operations in different political zones. The training is expected to further evaluate these operations from the perspective of combat arms for better performance.
It is also a forum for the combat arms after identifying its challenges and gaps in its capability to reconceptualize their training for better performance in the theater.
It will also analyze challenges and provide solutions to dynamic security problems.
There has been a remarkable improvement in the operational capacity of our troops, especially in the Northeast. This is occasioned by improvements in funding, better administrative and logistics planning, and execution in support of our operations.
In a message, Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai noted that the Army has for decades played active role in protecting the nation's territorial integrity and support internal security. The training is with a theme, achieving operational effectiveness in combat arms, imperative for professional responsiveness. From Jaji, Kaduna State, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
The presidency has confirmed that the Buhari administration is not in any way perturbed about reports of politicians hobnobbing with some soldiers for undisclosed reasons and expressed absolute confidence in the ability of the military high command to nip in the bud political threats to democracy. Presidential spokesman Femi Adesina stated this at a media forum on the second anniversary of the governing All Progressives Congress, APC, in Nigeria. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukuru Buratai, recently had cause to issue a stern warning to military officers in Nigeria to steer clear of politics. The warning followed reports of politicians approaching some officers for undisclosed political reasons, which many Nigerians believe is not good for democracy. At the media briefing, the presidential spokesman Femi Adesina was taken on whether the presidency is concerned about the development.
The army has spoken, and let us take that position. What the Chief of Army Staff said was a routine warning that goes to military officers. Don't hobnob with politicians. And the army has explained the position. Let's take that position and not stretch it beyond what the military has said.
Mr. Femi Adesina and the two other senior special assistants to the president on media and publicity, Garba Shehu and Laulu Akande, took turns at the interactive session to give detailed explanations on the performance of the Buhari administration in addressing the nation's fundamental problems in the last 2 years. These are in the areas of security, economy, and corruption, on the basis of which Nigerians yearn for the Buhari presidency.
The APC did not promise to solve all the country's problems in 1 year or in 2 years. The mandate the party has is 4 years, and it is pacing itself as it goes along. And I'm sure that by the end of those 4 years, we will have a lot more to record.
And I think that there's happiness in the land because even for safety and the anti-corruption measures of the president. Yes, the people who have gained from the rot of the past, they are absolutely unhappy. And we understand. We don't expect them to cheer Buhari. They won't.
Look at what this government has done in the area of agriculture. Look at the fact that we have increased even our rice production. We have reduced rice importation. Look at the number of millionaires that were created in one state. For instance, I believe Kebbi, with about 40,000 farmers became millionaires, because of the policy of this government.
The presidential spokespersons used the forum to call for continued support, cooperation, and understanding of Nigerians in the task of consolidating the Change Nigeria project in the remaining 2 years.
The country does not belong to the government. It actually belongs to the people. So the citizenry should also rise up and make sure the country is the way they want it to be.
This government means well for the country, means well for the citizens. It is just after public good. The worst is now behind us. There is greatness ahead of this country, and Nigerians should look forward to that.
The media interactive session is part of activities marking the 2017 Democracy Day celebration. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
In a related development, the Nigerian Union of Journalists says it is alarmed by rumors making the rounds about a planned coup d'etat in the country and warns that Nigerians will resist any attempt to change government through any other means that is not democratic. The union appeals for concerted efforts by all Nigerians to defeat the current security challenges in the country and to thwart any attempt at instigating any insurrection. The NUJ calls on aggrieved members of the political class not to rock the boat while attempting to derail this democratic dispensation for selfish purposes. While calling on government to deal decisively with this evil plot, the union reiterated the need for all to support government rather than the uncalled for quest for a change of government through violent, undemocratic means. Now to the Senate, cybercrime, which has today remained a cause for concern to the global community, with Nigeria having its own share of devastating effect, has attracted attention of lawmakers in the Senate. Senators noted with concern current and threatening dimension of cyber attack and put the issue under close examination to combat the situation, especially on its security implications. National Assembly correspondent Waziri Zayanu now reports on proceedings at Tuesday's Senate plenary.
The Senate observed with concern the threat to Nigeria's security and economy caused by cybercrime and asked the authorities concerned to step up their game in controlling the trend, especially now that the nation is trying to resuscitate the economy faced by insecurity and its attendant abysmal effect. Senator Buhari Abdul Fattah, Oyo North, is the lawmaker that triggered this concern in his motion on the worrisome dimension of cybercrime and insecurity.
Mandate the Senate Committee on ICT and Cybercrime to immediately convoke a national stakeholder conference on cybersecurity with a view to stimulating a collective reflection among relevant stakeholders and articulating a national broad-based approach to keeping the country ahead of challenges.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ikweremadu presiding wanted the National Security Advisor to alert all security agencies and financial institutions in the country on the current and threatening dimension of the cyber attacks.
Just as we are getting ready, and then prepared against the conventional war, we must also be getting ready, and also prevent, a possible cyber attack.
Also, National Sports Commission Bill 2017 was passed after going through a third reading. Chairman Senate Committee on Sports, Obin Naoba, said, when established, the Sports Commission will uplift the status of Nigeria on the global sporting arena.
This bill could not have come at any better time than now to give legal backing to this important commission to help rejuvenate the Nigerian sports industry.
While raising a point of order, Senate leader Ahmed Lawal refuted newspaper publication alleging that he was refused entry into his constituency by his people over the weekend.
After 17 years, the relationship that characterized my relationship with my people is love, trust, mutual respect, and therefore never, ever was there a situation where I was booed or talk less of preventing me from going to wherever I wanted to go.
The matter was sent to the Ethics Committee for investigation and further legislative action. From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayan, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Still to come, House of Representatives received executive communication with respect to the 2016-2018 external borrowing plan. Details after this break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
You want to know the coolest place in town? It's right here on your phone.
Welcome to the Glow Cafe. Come on in. It's buzzing in the Zanga. In here, anything is possible. Check out the menu, and here are some of the odds items. Over here, you can buy credit, buy data, share data, borrow voice and data, give data. Give it to him now, be kind. Then there is Glow Music Cafe. More than 2 million Nigerian and Africa land back. Glow has teamed up with the world's largest gaming catalog to bring you the Glow Game Cafe. And that's just a start. Check out the Glow Video Cafe. Countless clips, comedy and sports, direct to your device. And when you thought things couldn't get easier, there's personal account management and Glow customer care right at your fingertips.
You can get everything at Glow.
Simply text BUZZ to 105 to download the Glow Cafe app or go to your app store and search for Glow Cafe, the largest data network. Glow, grandmasters of data.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Rise up this morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
Cause every little thing is There's no limit to what you can do with data. With Nigeria's widest data network, it's amazing what you can make happen on MTN.
This is my message to you.
We appreciate the gesture, we appreciate her love, and we know that she cares about the people of Nigeria.
She wants to touch people's life, especially the less privileged, or even people who are sick in the hospital. We remember that they have a wife of the president who is very concerned about human life and humanity in general.
Have you seen the new Opera Mini?
Browse faster. Get the latest news. Download videos and extend your data so you can browse all day.
Upgrade to Opera Mini.
Download now for free.
I came to Maiduguri cycling my bicycle when the Boko Haram captured our town, Bama, on the 1st September. I came to Maiduguri with nothing but my rosary and my GSM phone, and the bicycle I came with only my NYC certificates, everything, my shop, my house were razed down by the Boko Haram. I became a destitute, an IDP living in the IDP's camp. Thanks to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, with N-Power now, at least I feed my family and also have some savings.
Thank you for remaining with NTA Network News. The House of Representatives has received an executive communication from the presidency requesting the inclusion of the Development Bank of Nigeria and appropriation for the agricultural financing in the 2016-2018 external borrowing plan. National Assembly correspondent Iglesias Unko reports.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara read the presidential request to members.
The facility in the sum of USD 1.28 billion appeared to be inadvertently omitted in the 2014 to to 2016 external borrowing plan approved by the National Assembly. Fund for Agricultural Finance in Nigeria, FAFIN2, is being supported by KfW Development Bank of Germany in the sum of 9 million euros.
The issue of drug abuse by sportsmen and women came on the floor as members passed for second reading a bill for an act to establish Sports Anti-Doping Agency in Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Diri Doye from Bayelsa State.
Our country, Nigeria, was also a signatory to the World Anti-Doping Codes. And that was sometime on the second day of December in 2005. This bill is very urgent because we are at the verge of being declared a non-compliant country.
That up till now, we don't have any anti-doping agency.
We need to have an anti-doping agency.
A motion on the need to establish a federal polytechnic in Shandam, Plateau State, moved by Representative John Bull Shekarau from the state, was adopted.
That the failure of the federal government to establish at least a polytechnic in Plateau State has affected the desire of the youths of the state to acquire the required knowledge to enable them to contribute adequately to the industrial and technological development of the country.
A member from Adamawa State, Representative Adamu Kamale, defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the All Progressives Congress, APC. The House considered the report of its Committee on Works on a bill for an act to establish the National Road Fund. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
A total of 1,000 former agitators under the Presidential Amnesty Program are being deployed for training at the International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The training is projected to explore the diverse business opportunities inherent in the rich cultural heritage of African societies, while particularly emphasizing the peculiarity of the Niger Delta ecosystem for tourism. Namdi Odipo has the report.
The training officially begins with 100 delegates, most of whom will be mentored on catering, fashion design and tourism. The special advisor to the president on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, described the training as a good example of homegrown human capacity development aimed at helping the youth develop skills capable of improving their lives and the local economy.
I want to urge you all that are involved in this program to take this program very serious.
The state government was represented at the event by the Commissioner for Tourism and Development, Ebiere Irene Musa. The training for each batch of delegates at the institute would last for 1 month. The presidential aide, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has also called for an increase in youth economic empowerment initiatives in the Niger Delta. He made the call shortly after commissioning some fish farms and commodity shops in Okrika, River State, designed as business empowerment startup kits for 40 ex-agitators who recently concluded their vocational training under the Presidential Amnesty Program. Namdi Odipo, NTA News.
Now to religious matters. The 5th Ramadan lecture organized by the Nigerian Television Authority, MINA, ended with a call on Muslims to adhere to the teachings of the religion. The lecture, with the theme Economic Prosperity and Social Peace, was graced by participants from different parts of the country. Mukhtar Abubakar Wowo reports.
The 2017 lecture has as its theme Economic Prosperity and Social Peace. The chairman of the occasion and former Vice-Chancellor FUT Mina, Professor Muhammad Dania Abdullahi, said the social tension being experienced in some of the communities is as a result of engagements in an act of dishonesty.
It is for this reason that Islam prohibits bribery and corruption.
Director General Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented, said the event is part of the principle that established NTA to educate the general public, adding that education in Islam is fundamental, hence the need for every individual to seek for knowledge regardless of distance and source.
The first verse to the Prophet of Islam was Iqra, that we should seek knowledge from cradle to grave.
General Manager NTA Mina Mukhtar Abdullahi said the objective of the program is to remind the public the teachings of Islam. Mukhtar Abubakar, NTA News.
Jennifer in Lagos, in our Lagos Network Center, is there to tell us more from that zone.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. A total of 440 pieces of assorted pump-action rifles were intercepted by the Nigerian customs. This was disclosed to the media in Lagos. Thekla Wilkie reports.
The Customs Area Controller, while briefing the media, disclosed that the ammunition was uncovered through intelligence gathering, which necessitated the segregation of 1 by 20 feet container for physical inspection. He noted that the container, which was declared by the importer as consignment conveying anticeral and carnule chemical formula, was actually loaded with different arms and ammunition.
Magnum branch, some from US, some from Italy, but mainly imported from Turkey. We have other accessories in this container as well. Several parts dismantled, definitely to be reassembled. So investigation requires we go deeper so as to get to where this quasi-factory of arms assemblage is in Nigeria.
The items seized include 100 pieces of black tornado single-barrel rifles, 75 pieces of silver magnum single-barrel rifles, 516 50 kilograms bags of pop cement amongst 9 other specified arms and ammunition.
There are pump action of various designs. This is one particular design. And then you have another design again. This one is black in color. They are all pump action.
The zonal coordinator, Zone A, who represented the Comptroller General, assured the general public that the Nigerian Customs has intensified its efforts at ridding the nation of contraband goods and items that poses security risk to the nation. In Lagos, Thekla Wilkie, NTA News.
Now, after 2 years of collating data on the types and amount of electronic and electrical equipment imported into Nigeria, stakeholders of the Person and the Port project have met in Lagos to examine results obtained from field work carried out at their Papa and Tinkan Island ports. Becky Madujemu reports that the project is aimed at quantifying the potential level of electronic waste from new and used electrical equipment, as well as the possibility of recycling them into wealth.
Household electrical appliances, industrial equipment, mobile phones, and other paraphernalia of a technologically driven world have an end-of-life chapter. The average user gets rid of the old as the new takes over. By that seemingly harmless fix, the user has contributed his quota to the growing heap of electronic waste, also known as e-waste, and by extension, environmental degradation. To manage this attitude is the motivation behind the Person on the Port project by the Federal Ministry of Environment in partnership with NASRA, the Basel Coordinating Center, and the United Nations.
We also need to know that there are also very many materials that are very beneficial and which in some cases have to be recycled in what we call an urban mining procedure.
Don't dispose anyhow. These recycling centers are coming on board. Whatever you have as waste, you can take it to a recycling center.
The data will therefore carefully identify important elements, patterns and trends in electrical equipment with an objective to save the environment and create wealth for even the user.
A lot of unemployed graduates can make their millions by going into electronic waste recycling.
The Person on the Port project has been conducted in other parts of the world. Nigeria's contribution will therefore provide the template needed for future studies. In Lagos, Becky Madujemu, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja after this timeout. Stay tuned.
When the kings of African comedy gather under one roof,
there is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof. Come witness the craziest and the funniest, oh my God, and the baddest of them all. Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest, Basket Mouth, Bovi,
I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more. You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, hip-cracking comedians under one roof. One microphone, one net, all over Nigeria. Yeah, I'm going to be there.
I am going to be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct. For the time of your life. Will you? To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240. Oh, love the fist. Laugh go kill you, dad.
True. Glow Unlimited.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
A hectic lifestyle or overeating can cause a burning pain in your chest. That's heartburn. Take Gaviscon. One dose relieves in 3 minutes to soothe the pain of heartburn. It goes straight to the source to work for hours, providing long-lasting relief.
That's why I recommend Gaviscon.
I recommend Gaviscon. Gaviscon, fast relief you can actually feel.
If symptoms persist after 3 days, consult your doctor.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery. Cadbury Bournvita now comes in an attractive new 500-gram refill pack. Simply open and reseal after use to retain the chocolatey and creamy taste. Cadbury Bournvita. Prepare to win.
You're still on to NTA Network News. National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons, Sadia Farouk, has reiterated the Commission's commitment to providing durable reintegration options for internally displaced persons as they return to their various places of habitation. She said this during a meeting with a group of Progressive Alliance of Democrats and Socialists in the European Parliament. Joseph Johnson reports.
Leader of the delegation, Gianni Pitella, said apart from helping in migration-related issues, they are generally interested in the well-being of Nigeria.
To help the people affected by Boko Haram, to help this country to ensure a better governance.
Sadia Farouk enumerated various programs of the Commission towards institutionalizing a manual of operation and sued for partnership with the EU to ensure effective implementation.
So we've discussed and we're going to partner with them to see how migration can be better managed for us to have a safe and orderly migration in the country.
Meanwhile, the Commission is pursuing the approval of the National IDPs policy, which will provide a framework for sharing responsibilities among the various actors. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
We now join Beauty Ohebami in our Enugu Network Center for more on NTA Network News. Hello, Beauty.
Good evening and welcome to Enugu. The Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Malam Yakubu Ibu Mohammed, says auditors have a critical role to play in the nation's economy, particularly now that emphasis is on the fight against corruption. This is his message to the opening ceremony of the 4-day National Auditor Conference in Enugu. Chineye Onwoye will tell us more.
The Director General, NTA, represented by the Executive Director, Administration and Training, Professor Steve Ebo, described auditors as the EFCC of any organization. He noted that as an entity, NTA must be sustained, and for her to survive, auditors must come up with new methods of generating income and enhance existing revenue.
The auditors are expected to design and create new methods and templates aimed at improving the revenue base of the organization.
Director Internal Audit NTA pointed out that auditors must be firm and should be of higher levels so they will not be intimidated while discharging their duties.
For an auditor to have the confidence of correcting the operations of the system, despite his suitability, his level matters.
Host of the conference, Zonal Director, NTA Enugu Network Center, Mr. Lee Muyodi, said the theme of the conference is apt. Some participants who spoke expressed optimism that at the end of the conference, they will go back better equipped for higher productivity. The conference has as its theme the role of auditors in enhancing revenue generation for sustainable development in NTA. In Enugu, Chinenye Nwoye, NTA News.
We are through here, Mohammed. It's back to you. Good evening.
Up ahead, global tidbits, sports news, and Wednesday's weather forecast. Don't go away.